Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. In today's video, I'll be using Paper Rose Studio's Woodland Christmas collection. I'll be using the 6x6 paper collection, but it is also available in the 12x12 size. I also have the Woodland Christmas embossed die cuts and the Woodland Christmas tags embossed die cuts. This is a beautiful collection, and if you are interested in any of the products, I do have links in the description box below. So let's go ahead and get started with card design number 1. I will be using some card sketches for inspiration. This first sketch is from Sugar Pea Designs. It's Sugar sketch number 54. I selected the lovely holly leaves and berries pattern paper for the background. I cut that piece to 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. For the 2 strips at the bottom of the card, selected 2 more pattern papers, a red lattice design, and for the narrow strip, it's a light brown wood grain design. I'll layer all of these pieces on some green cardstock. I did round the bottom 2 corners of the red lattice pattern paper and also that green cardstock layer. I put ATG tape on the back and added my card front onto a card base. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches. I am changing up this sketch just a little bit. I'm adding a larger circle than what's indicated on the sketch, and I'm adhering it at the very top of that narrow strip of the wood grain pattern paper. Before adhering it down, I did put a scrap piece of pattern paper on the back side. Then to adhere it in place, I used Barely Art glue. At the bottom of the circle, I'm adding the tree stump embossed die cut piece, and I did pop it up using some foam dimension from scrapbook.com. It's their 1/4 inch foam in the 1 mm thickness. I'll remove the release paper, add the tree stump at the bottom of the circle, and I am covering up that bottom edge of the circle. Next, I'll add this adorable owl image, and he'll be standing on the tree stump. On the back side of the owl, I'm putting more foam dimension, but only in the area where it goes off of that tree stump. Behind his feet and body, I'll add Barely Art glue. In the lower left-hand corner, adding another embossed die cut piece, little mushroom, and I am popping it up using more foam dimension. Behind the mushroom on the left side, I'm adding a cut down banner, and this is from the embossed tag set. For a sentiment, I'm adding Happy Holidays, and this is from Paper Rose's Merry Christmas Sentiment Sheet Pack. I selected the black with white font. The very left side of the sentiment will be tucked behind the mushroom, and the very right side will go slightly off of those pattern paper pieces. To adhere the sentiment, I put some clear double-sided adhesive tape on the back side. Using a small scrap piece of the green cardstock, I'll cut a banner. First cut the fishtail on the bottom, then I'll cut the right side in slightly at an angle, flip it over, and do the same thing on the other side. For embellishments, I'm adding some Love from Lizi peel-offs. This is the mini circle style in gold. I'll put 2 on the banner in the upper left-hand corner and 3 underneath the sentiment on the right side. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. The second card features a sweet little bear and a pine cone image. Now moving on to card design number 2. The card sketch is from Sugar Pea Designs. This is Sugar sketch number 8. For the background of my card, selected this pattern paper with adorable images inside Christmas wreaths. There's also candy canes and bows. I'll be layering it on some red cardstock. For the large panel on the right side of the card, using more of the red lattice pattern paper, I did round the left 2 corners using a corner chomper. Layer that piece on red cardstock. Now I'll put adhesive on the back and layer the background piece on the red cardstock. Put more adhesive on the back and add my card front onto a card base. For the banner that goes across the card, using this light teal snowflake pattern paper, I'll cut a fishtail on the left side, And before adhering it down, I'll put a scrap cardstock piece on the left side, just in the area where it goes off of the red lattice pattern paper. I'll put adhesive on the back and adhere the banner in place. And since I use glue, I have a little bit of wiggle time to get that banner nice and straight across the card. Now I'll bring in some of the embossed die cut images and also a cut apart sentiment, merry and bright. I'll first add the tree. Before adhering it down, I'll first add a scrap cardstock piece behind it, just in the area where it goes off of that snowflake banner. For this sweet little bunny image wearing a Santa hat, I did put foam dimension on the back. Using the small foam squares from scrapbook.com, this is their 1mm thickness. I'll remove the release paper and add the little bunny on the right side of the tree. And for a final finishing touch, I'll add 2 of the gold mini circle peel-offs in the upper right-hand corner. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. The second card features a sweet little mouse image and the sentiment, Happy Holidays. Now moving on to card design number 3. For the background of my card, I selected this fun pattern paper with lots of woodland images and sweet little critters. Across the card, I'm adding a 2-inch strip of this green polka dot paper. I'll layer it on some light brown cardstock. And that cardstock layer is 2 1/4 of an inch by 4 1/4 of an inch. For the background paper, I'm layering it first on some green cardstock, and that piece is an additional 1/8 of an inch. The pattern paper piece is 3 7/8 of an inch by 5 1/8 of an inch. Now I'll add the polka dot strip at the bottom of the card, and I'm putting it just high enough so I don't cover up the sweet little hedgehog at the bottom. For a sentiment, I'll be adding the word joy. And this is a new die set from Paper Rose. It's their Fancy Script Layered Joy die. It includes the word and also the shadow outline piece. I cut out the word from some gold texture mirror cardstock, and I cut out 2 of the shadow pieces. One from the snowflake pattern paper and the other from some white shimmer cardstock. I'll add the gold sentiment first on the pattern paper layer. Then I'll add that piece on the white shimmer cardstock layer. And I'm offsetting them slightly, so you'll see just a peek of that white cardstock underneath and on the left side. Now I'll flip over the sentiment, put foam dimension on the back. I'll also be adding a small red bow on my card. I use Paper Rose's Tiny Bows die set. There's just 2 pieces to assemble this cute little bow. Here's a quick look at the die set. I have a few die sets on this magnetic sheet, but I wanted to show the dies that are included on the tiny bow set. Now I'll bring back my card, remove the release paper behind the sentiment, adhere the sentiment on the green polka dot paper. The bow will go in the lower left-hand corner. I'll put some Barely Art glue on the back and adhere it in place. And in the upper right-hand corner, I'm adding 2 banners. The red striped piece is one of the embossed tags, but I'll also be adding a green cardstock banner. I'll cut a fishtail on the bottom, add the green banner down first, and before adhering the red stripe banner, I'll put a small scrap piece of cardstock on the right side of the green banner. That way the right side of the red stripe banner doesn't dip down. Now I'll put glue on the back of the red stripe banner and adhere it in place. For embellishments, I'm adding some clear crystals from Paper Rose. I'll pour out a small amount in scrapbook.com's Stack and Sort tray, select 2 different sizes, put a small drop of Barely Art glue down, pick up those crystals using the wax tip end of scrapbook.com's Craft Pro Pick tool. And the glue will dry clear. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For card design number 4, the card sketch is from Freshly Made Sketches. This is number 639. I selected 2 pattern papers using the snowflake paper for the background and some of the green polka dot paper for that piece in the upper left-hand corner. I decided to add one of the cut apart images, this sweet little bear wearing a scarf and a Santa hat. I'll layer the cut apart image on some dark green cardstock. For the green polka dot piece, I'm layering that on some white shimmer cardstock. I'll adhere the polka dot piece down first. Before adding the bear cut apart image, I'll put those scrap cardstock pieces on the right side and also a small piece underneath in the lower left-hand corner. Then I'll put glue on the back and adhere the bear in place. The little bear image is super cute. I love that he's wearing a Santa hat. I'll layer the background piece on green cardstock, put ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base. For a sentiment, I'm adding one of the embossed tag die cuts, and I have foam dimension on the back. It has the sentiment joyful. I'll remove the release paper and adhere the sentiment on the left side of the card. For a final finishing touch, using a small scrap piece of red cardstock, I'll cut a banner and adhere it in the upper left-hand corner of the green polka dot paper. So there is my finished card, and I did make two using this design. I love that the paper pad included some larger cut aparts this time. Perfect for cards. Now moving on to card design number 5. I selected 3 pattern papers. For the very background, I have some craft cardstock. For the featured pattern paper, this is a sheet that has this lovely floral design in opposite corners. I cut that piece in half, so I'm able to use it on 2 cards. I'll layer that piece on some dark green cardstock. I'll add some of the red lattice pattern paper on the background, putting it on the left side of the card. Then I'll add this floral wood grain panel on the right side. I also cut a small strip of the green polka dot paper, and I'll adhere it on the left side of the wood grain floral panel. You'll only see about 1/4 of an inch of it peeking out on the left side. I'll layer the background piece on the same dark green cardstock, put ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base. This year, Paper Rose has released lots of different Christmas collections in a variety of colors. So whether you like using traditional Christmas colors or non-traditional colors, Paper Rose has you covered. For a little extra detail and shine, I decided to use Paper Rose's brand new White Dove Flourish border die set, and I cut it out from some silver mirror cardstock. I'll be adding it on the right side of the wood grain and floral panel. I'll put glue on the back, and since this is a specialty cardstock, it does take a little bit longer for that glue to really adhere. So I'll place a large acrylic block on top and let that sit for a few minutes. There are a few areas on the die cut that would punch out. There's the inside of the star, but I decided to leave those pieces in. So I made sure to put glue on the back before adhering it down. For a sentiment, I'm adding one of the embossed die cut tags. It has the sentiment Winter Wishes. I did put foam dimension on the back. I'll remove the release paper and adhere it in the center of the Flourish die cut piece, trying not to cover up the 2 bird images. I'll also add the green striped banner piece. This is another embossed tag die cut piece. I'll put it in the upper left-hand corner. And for a final finishing touch, I'm using some Love from Lizi peel-offs. This is the mini star style in silver mirror. I'll put 3 in the upper left-hand corner. Thought about adding 2 in the lower right-hand corner, but decided not to for this card. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. For my final card design, selected this fun forest tree pattern paper for the background. I'll be adding a strip of the green polka dot paper across the card, but at this point I don't have a piece long enough to go all the way across. So I'll be adding 2 small scraps. No one will know since I will cover up the gap in the center. Before adhering the green polka dot scrap pieces, I'll first add a stitch square die cut, and I cut this out of vellum. I'll put glue on the back, making sure to put it more on the inside since that will be covered up. I'll adhere it on the center of the card. Now I can add the 2 green polka dot pieces. I'll layer the background on some dark green cardstock, put ATG tape on the back, and add my card front onto a card base, leaving 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. Using Paper Rose's Stitch Square die set, I cut another square, this time 1 size smaller than the vellum, and I used some cream pearlescent cardstock for the smaller square. I'll put glue on the back and add this square in the center of the vellum square. Now I'll add 2 of the embossed die cut woodland critters, a little fox and a bunny. I already have foam dimension on the back. Use the small foam squares from scrapbook.com. I'll remove the release paper, put the bunny on the left side and the fox on the right side. And for a sentiment, I'll add Merry Christmas. This is another cut apart. I have clear double-sided adhesive tape on the back. I'll remove the release paper and add the sentiment underneath the squares. So there is my finished card, and this time I made a total of 4, 3 of them following the same design. The final card, a little different. I have the green polka dot strip going down the center. And instead of adding any of the critter images, I used one of the tag embossed die cuts with the sentiment Joy to the World. Now here's another look at the 14 cards I made using Paper Rose Studios Woodland Christmas collection. I used the 6x6 size paper, but it's also available in 12x12. I also used both of the coordinating embossed die cut sets, the Woodland Christmas and the Woodland Christmas tags. This collection is absolutely adorable. I love all the sweet critters. If you are interested in any of the products I used in this video, I do have links in the description box below. Paper Rose is located in Australia, and they do ship their products internationally, but you can also purchase them here in the US, and I have links for both locations listed below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.